If you're 16, you aren't grown. Can we have a talk about this? 16 may be the universal age of consent, but you aren't grown. 16 years olds are usually still in high school for another year. High school, secondary education. 16 years olds aren't even fully developed and still have around, 3 more years to finish their teen years? 16-year-olds, whether you had a traumatizing childhood or not, are still more susceptible to pressure of any kind. Being 16 does not make you ready for schmicks. Basically, you're not a real adult. Can we stop it? Teenagers are already entitled enough than to tell them they're adults at a very young age. Is young adult not a thing anymore? I love how Ginny mentions that she hates her birthday or doesn't really celebrate it, but she was all smiles and crown wearing at school, so I guess it's just the hate for your mother. You know what I will get Ginny for her 16th birthday since she's such an adult? A rented house or apartment and a job. Since you're an adult, then you don't need me or school since I guess you finished as you turn 16 and you can now be independent. Heck, you shall be thankful that I went out and sourced these things for you instead of just moving you the hell out. Can you tell that I don't like Ginny? If my daughter looked at me and said, "Cool people don't say they're cool," I'd send her to an asylum. How adult of you. That essay, no. Ginny did slam poetry. Very good slam poetry, might I add, but it was an essay competition. Of course she didn't win. Not because you're half black means you can just not follow the rules and blame racism. You didn't follow the rules. That's a you problem. She lacks any accountability. Realize how she always finds someone or something else to blame. The problem is never her. No, she's good. Angelic. She is mightier than thou. If I asked you for a sweater for the cold weather and you gave me a crop top, no matter how beautiful or trendy that crop top is, the place is cold. That does nothing for me. Following the rules doesn't make you weak. Rebelling just because is nonsensical. You have a voice, yes, but sometimes you need to shut up, especially if there's nothing good to say, which somehow this girl just keeps spouting nonsense. That scene with Hunter where she was arguing about how he's more close to white and he's less, I guess, I don't know, pushed to the curb than her, and he gets more attention because Asians have a better stereotype. First of all, she's mixed. What is her stereotype? Because she's mixed. She's in black, so she doesn't have a very terrible stereotype. That's one thing I know for sure. So I have no idea what she's trying to say there. Also, I love that conversation because a lot of idiots in the real world actually have these convos. Like, oh, you're not more oppressed than me, I'm more oppressed than you. Okay, why are you bragging? Why is this something you feel the need to push down other people's throats? Like, okay, you're more oppressed. What does that do to help your situation? Why does that sound as if you're proud of being oppressed? Like, oh, I face more racism than you, or my stereotypes are worse than yours. Okay, why the hell are we having a conversation about whose oppression is worse? Not to be political, well, this isn't really political, but like, no one gives a shit. Both are not go through crap. Both of y'all are going through some bad stuff right now. Both of y'all have terrible stereotypes. Both of them specifically are in a situation where they're mixed. So any demographic they go to, it's like they don't fit in. But she's going to argue with Hunter because he won and she didn't. I love when Hunter turned to her and he was like, Operation Olympics, let's go. Because that was truly upsetting. Because why is she going to have start a whole debate about who's more oppressed or who's less like their genetics? Who's less than the stereotypes that you guys are saying you don't like? That was just a very dumb situation, a very dumb conversation that did not need to happen. For this episode, I'm only going to touch on one thing. Paul. He is so good to Georgia, almost too good. Like, this man, he sees what he wants, he aims for that, And he will fight for that. I appreciate his open-mindedness. I love his determination. I love him. I just love him. And I like how he made Georgia realize her own cycle. Like, he's immaculate. Paul for mayor. And now at the finale, Ginny finally got what she deserved, but now she thinks she can survive on her own with Austin, which if the showrunners try to make her somehow a survivalist, I am going to flip. I want to see her get mauled by a bear or something. I don't want to see her somehow becoming Tarzan.